It's a good day. It's a good day to be alive. And even though there's a lot of crazy stuff going on around us, God's still good and He still provides and He cares and He's faithful. And there's so many other things about our God that I just want to tell you about today. So we're going to be talking about the Battle of Jericho. And I don't know if you've ever heard that song. Joshua fought the Battle of Jericho, Jericho. Yeah, you don't want to hear me sing. But anyway, it's a good song to remind you, and it'll get stuck in your head the rest of the day, and so you'll remember about the Battle of Jericho. So this is coming from Joshua chapter 2 and chapter 6. And here it is. God brought down the walls of Jericho. What do you mean? Doesn't it say Joshua fought the Battle of Jericho? Well, Joshua was involved, and he led the Israelites in doing what they needed to do, what God had told them to do, but God did the job. And that's so important for us to be able to acknowledge. So how can we glorify God? We can glorify God by loving Him and obeying Him. And this is exactly what the people did in order to conquer Jericho. So what's our verse? Deuteronomy 31:8. Have you memorized that yet? I hope you can start learning that. That'd be great. And the Lord, He it is that doth go before thee. He will be with thee. He will not fail thee, neither forsake thee. Fear not, neither be dismayed. What's going on there? God is always with you. He'll go before you. Don't be afraid. He won't fail you. There's so many things here, so many promises about who God is and how He's always with us. Those who are His children. And that's key there. So as we get into this, they're finally in Canaan. How? Well, didn't they cross the Jordan River in their last lesson? And now they're in Canaan. But the problem is, there's people. There's people that are dwelling in the land that God had given them. So they have to go to battle. And they have to win. This isn't going to be an easy thing. They got to do and follow God and what He says here in order to conquer this people. Now, as you get into this subject, Joshua takes on something that they had done before. Remember, they had sent spies into the land to check it out? Well, Joshua sent 2 spies into Jericho to check out this heavily fortified city. Now, as they got in there, they met a woman named Rahab. Have you ever heard of Rahab? Rahab, you know what? In her past, there was a lot of sin there. Okay, her job was a not a good job, and I won't go into heavy details here, but let's just say that she wasn't the first person that you'd choose to befriend in this type of a situation. If you're following after God, okay, and yet they found her. She had turned her faith around into believing in God because she had heard about God and she believed in Him and she wanted to help. So when the authorities came looking for these 2 spies, they knew that there were spies in the land, so they came looking. She actually hid them on her roof, and so that they were protected, and she helped them escape. But yet she said, please help my family to be safe when you attack. Now, these 2 Israelite men didn't know what was going to happen. So they didn't know how they were going to attack, what was going to happen in the midst of this, how to necessarily protect them. But they did promise that this family would be safe, Rahab's family, because she had helped them. Now, so they go back to Joshua. They told her to put a red cord on her window so that way they could know what was going on there, who had allied with them. And all of a sudden, God tells Joshua what's going to happen here. So in order to conquer, Joshua would have to lead his people around Jericho one time. They would have to walk around, everybody following the Ark of the Covenant, following around Jericho. The priests would blow their trumpets. They'd go home. And then the next day, they'd walk around Jericho, do the exact same thing every day for 6 days. 6 days of walking around Jericho one time. On the 7th day, they needed to walk around Jericho 7 times. The priests would blow their trumpets, and then everybody would, okay, that would be super fun to be able to do, okay, with that many people. Can you imagine how loud that would be? And they were supposed to shout, and then the walls would fall down. So guess what? Joshua did exactly what God stated. Every day for 6 days, walk around it once, and the Ark of the Covenant taken around, and then on the 7th day, they walk around it 7 times, and then all of a sudden, Joshua cries out, "Shout, for the Lord has given you this city." Can you imagine? Oh man, somebody would be, I'd be giddy as all get out. I mean, I'd be so pumped, and I'd be, right? Wouldn't that be so much fun? And guess what happened? The walls fell. What? That's pretty crazy, isn't it? The walls fell. There it went. And then Israel moved into the city, conquered the people. Rahab's family was safe. They knew who they were by that red cord. Man, that is so cool. God did all the work for the Israelites. Can you imagine all that went on here? So you say, how does Christ fit into this? Where's the Christ connection? Well, you know what? By faith, Rahab helped out the people of Israel and was given mercy based on this fact. And you know what? In Jesus, we receive mercy. In Jesus, when we have faith, we receive mercy. Due to the salvation he gives, as he died on the cross and rose again, this is the gospel. But you know the other cool thing is? Rahab ended up being in Christ's line. What do you mean? Rahab ended up being like the great grandmother. Okay, I didn't give you the exact grades, but it was a family member of Jesus. Isn't that cool? Someone from Jericho who kind of lived a messed up life, God ended up using because she had faith in him. Wow, it's amazing what God can do with people. And even when they think that their life is too messed up, God can still use you. That's so awesome. And so there we see Christ, his connection throughout this story. Now, let's go with our questions for today. Why did Rahab help? Why do you think? Because she believed in God. So what was God's plan to conquer Jericho? Was it to attack? Was it to send in 500 men and to assassinate a bunch of people? No. Walk around the city one time. Every day for 6 days, and on the 7th, walk around it 7 times, blow the horns, yell. Wah! All right? Did it work? Or is this just a failed plan? Yes, it worked, and Israel was successful. They won. Why do you think God's strategy is so different than one that we would create? It's so out there. I mean, that's not something that we would think of. I mean, science-wise, doesn't quite match up, does it? No. It was a miracle. Why? Because God is showing that he is needed and he's all-powerful. He is the mighty one. He can do this. The people can trust him. It's a God thing. And we get to look at it and see it as being a God thing. So why is Rahab's story included? Well, I told you in the fact that they were needed to save she was needed to save the spies, but yet her faith is one of an example that's even used in Hebrews chapter 11 with the hall of faith. When so many others are mentioned for their faith, Rahab's mentioned. But yeah, she was a part of the messianic line, Jesus' bloodline. Okay, she was a part of Jesus' family. That's so cool, like the great grandma. Okay, how can we practice trusting and having faith in God? How can we practice? Well, it's by when we get into the difficult things that we reach out to God and pray, seek His face, we look to His Word. That's how we trust. We gain that help from Him, the wisdom that He gives in order to live our lives out. That's what we need. We just need to trust in Him. So there's a lot to this lesson. I hope you enjoyed it. So what's the activity for today? Well, I'm going to give you a couple because it's the weekend. So you need a couple of activities. One of those is go and find like one of your army men or two of them, or a couple of Lego men, or if you've got some old girly toys, like little Barbies or something. I don't know. I'm not a girl. I don't know what to play with. I know I've got a couple of daughters, but Riley kind of plays with Legos. So, go and grab something small from your toys and hide them, and then see if your sibling or your parents can guess where they are. Why? Because that's going to remind you of the two spies that were hidden. Okay? And then here's another one. How about try this? Build a block wall or a tower, and then yell at it and see if it'll fall down. Don't touch it. Yell at it. See if it'll fall down. What does that remind you of? How God was able to use voices to make the walls of Jericho fall down. Now, it probably won't work with you, okay? But then try another one. Try to build a tower and then put a little Lego person or somebody in there, and then put a little red cord outside of it, and then knock the tower down and see if you can keep that person safe, without something bad happening to them when the tower falls. Oh, some unique things. We're going to see some engineers being involved in this today and this weekend, whenever you use this video. So, hope you have fun with that. Hope you have a great day, great weekend, and we'll talk to you soon.